Hey guys, welcome back to LetCode once again. So, what we have done so far is like we got the summary and this guy. This guy should come here, but I don't know why this guy didn't come this side. Card content, card column, columns. Section. Okay, because of this section. So if I remove the section class, it will just expand. Yeah, that's correct. So that's easy one. So now if you go to this guy here, you can select we have this one. So once we click on this, of course we want to bring the actual test data, not the hello text. So let's see how to do it. Okay, so let's go back to here. Yeah, we don't want to have the section here, so we'll just cut this guy, we'll remove this guy and we'll paste it over here. Let's format the code. Yeah, okay. So we fix the spacing issue, right? Okay. So this one like display none, and then we are changing the style to display block, so that's why we are able to see the text called hello. So we don't want this anymore, let's delete it all. But of course we need this particular test detail, because whatever the detail we are going to get, we are going to fetch it there. Okay, now let's write a function to display the test, right? So let's go and add a function called display test, and this is going to have a argument of test. So we want test the test details, and then we can do this, right? So once we click on that, like we are getting the each item, we are able to fetch the each item from the item. What we want to do is we have already stored our data in the particular result, right? So but in the particular result we have stored it. So what we have passed here is like this group result. So all this detail like all test, past, in past, this one are basically your static data. The only data dynamic is going to be a group result. So group result will have all the dynamic data, right? So how we are going to do is, so since we have the index and we are storing everything with the help of index, so from the group result we'll fetch the index and then we'll store it, right? So that should be the ideal goal here. So all our details are within the group result. Let's go back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say const test data, and then followed by I'm going to get it from my group result. But I don't think group result will come here directly. Yeah, I will come back to this in a moment. Before that, so once I click on it, right? So for example, once I click on this particular, let me close this one, close this one as well. Yeah, this is also not required. Yeah, once I click on this guy, so I want to show the relevant data, but how will I know which one I'm clicking, right? So here you can select test data ID of 0 1 2 3, and similarly if you go to the next one here, it should be like 4 5 6, right? So as of now we have numbering system 0 to n number of tests. Based on that it's going to work, right? So once I click on that, I want to show the relevant result. So of course I have to fetch this test ID, right? So how will I get the test ID now? Because this one is basically your test title, right? So test title is going to be common. Let me inspect this one and show you. So this one is common, like the number of tests I have, it's going to show, and yeah, 6 is correct. Yeah, so we have 6, and this one is coming from your JavaScript, so ignore that one. So we have 6 tests and we are able to get. So that's how we'll fetch all the details. But I want to retrieve the particular test data, right? So for that we are going to use the test data ID, because that's going to be unique, right? So what we can do is we can simply say like const test equal to document dot query selector. I should actually not use document. So from the item, right? So from the each and every individual item, I have to do the query selector, and from there I want to get the what is this one, data test ID. So I'll just fetch the data test ID from that particular item, which is going to give me the test ID. Okay, now what I can do is I can simply fetch the, based on the test ID, I can fetch the details from the stored data, that is group result. But how can I access the group result? I cannot access the group result within the script tag, because that's a HBS template. So this one is like your file template, which cannot access the template of HBS directly. So for example, here what we have done, we have used like group result, and we have within the curly braces we have access. That is how variables works. But this is a template, this will generate only once. But since we are handling the dynamic, we cannot use the HBS template directly. So what we will do, we'll just use the JavaScript concept here. So what can I do is I can simply, first of all, I have to retrieve the data. So what I will do, I'll simply say like const test data, and then followed by, here I'm going to use 3 curly braces because that is a JSON and we need the JSON file as it is, JSON data as it is. So that's why we are using the 3 curly braces. And this is again HBS template. Okay. Now here I will say like group result because this is the variable where I have all my test data. Now this is stored to this guy called test data. What we'll simply say like, we'll say const, I'll just get all the result from here, and then I will say like test data of, I want to fetch it in the test ID. That means that's going to be array of object, right? So from the array of object we'll get this one and we'll just simply show this. Now what we'll just do, we'll just pass this result to the display test. So display test, and here I'll just pass the result, and this is going to be my result, so I can just rename this to display. So for now I'm just going to use the console.log, and I'm going to show you the result. Let's see if it's working correct or not. So I'm going to run this one more time. Since it's an array, we are using the array of this thing, then we are passing to this one. It should work. Let's see. Yeah, now let's go back and refresh our this one. Let me open any test. Okay, once we click on this, it should unexpected undefined object at this one. This guy is become object, this is not able to fetch the data. So okay, so what is the issue? Let's see. This guy is the issue, I think. So this basically an object, array object, right? So that's why it's passed as an array object, but we want to get that as in JSON so that we can access the data. So let's see, I think we have to add the utility to convert this into an JSON, but let's see if that's going to work. Yeah, so now you can see we got an error. It says like error in reporting missing helper JSON. So this is an helper. Let me show you the documentation of HBS helper. So if you want to do something, right? So for example, yeah, so here you can select, we have an array where we have like people. What is this? Yeah, so here you can select, we have the okay, so this is our handlebar.register helper where we have this function as load, right? So what we will do, so whatever the data, this is the array of data which is shown here, right, with the help of each. So already we have learned the each, and we have also learned the this keyword, right? So what I want to do is I want to just convert those into the upper. So return string dot to uppercase, very self-explanatory. And this is the function, this is the register helper name, right? So this one we have to pass it. So how I can pass it, like I can just simply copy and paste over here, I guess. So that should not, okay, it's not so this, yeah. So once I pass the load, so this is the helper name. So what it does, it will get the data and it will convert to the uppercase. So here you can select all my data are in uppercase. Previously, whatever the data we have passed, like in the lowercase or whatever the case is here, it will just display as it is. But once I add the helper name, you can see it's just converted into the uppercase. So that is what exactly we are going to do. So we are just going to copy this guy and paste over in my ortoni report. So this is where we have to generate the helpers. How can we use, in the sense like, before compiling the template source, we'll have to have the handlebar, and this handlebar is basically coming from your import statement, that is namespace. Okay, so we just want to convert this into JSON. Now converting the object into JSON is a little bit tricky, so I will not probably like to explain that. So rather I will just display the function. So basically it will take the data, it will pass the data and it will convert into an JSON file. So I like to copy it from here. So yeah, so here you can see like we have different handlebar register, but like one is joined with Spain, one is JSON. So JSON, what we'll get the context and we'll just do the save stringify. What is save stringify? Save stringify I have written within the util.ts. So where we are doing something, so we'll just we'll create a set, we'll stringify the object, and we'll check if the object is in proper align or not. So this is the function actually. So this is a little bit vague. I took help from ChatGPT to generate this to show the detail. So let me just copy this one, and here I'm going to, in my project, I'm going to create a SRC folder called utils, and within that let's have a file name called utils.ts file, and I'm going to paste it. So export functions save stringify is the one. Okay, now let's go back to our ortoni reports, and here we know that we'll get the context and this one. So let me just copy this guy and paste over here. Okay, and we'll just do the import save stringify. Okay, now I can go to my HVS file, and here I have mentioned JSON. This JSON is nothing but this particular handlebar helper file, helper name. Okay, now let's go back and run this. It should work fine. Let's see. If you don't understand the code, you can just go to the code, you can copy and you can paste it in your chat GPT and you can ask it to explain. It is easy actually, but I created this 3 months ago and I'm not able to recollect now. So, but that time I understood how does it works, and that was really good. Okay, and here we have a syntax error. Okay, this is a function. I missed the keyword called function, so that's why we are having issue. So let's create a function called function. Let me format this one. Yeah, well, so one issue I wanted to let you know. So once we do the format, right, so what does it happens, right? Since we have this three curly braces, the handlebar extension is not able to understand, so it just break it down. If it's break it down, it won't work. So make sure you have the same following thing here. Right? Now this should work fine. Yeah, let's go and run this one more time. Okay, so if you go back to your report and if you refresh now, if you go and see here, you can see previously we got object. Now that has been stringified with the help of this particular helper where we have this save stringify. So it just converted the object into this one. Now if I go to my any of the test and if I print, you can see in the console log, it should come. Okay, something is wrong. Let's go and do the debug. So I can add a debug point here. Once I click on this, you can see the result is undefined. Why the result is undefined? Okay, I want to debug it from here. Let's go and click it one more time. So test data ID, which is it is null. Okay, why it's null? Item dot query selector. Is it wrong? Item dot query selector. Okay, it should be get attribute, not the query selector. So my bad. So that's the reason. So let's go back to our original code and change over here. Yeah, from the item actually we have to get the attribute, not the query selector. I was wrong. Okay, my bad. So one mistake I have done here is like, for example, if you go and see, we have used the group result. Group result, what does group result? It has, in a sense, like group result consists of all the tests in a grouped manner, but actual results are stored within the test result. So if you see here in the group result also, we are taking the data from the test result and we are just grouping it and we are returning that as a group result, but my actual results are within the test result. So we have to pass this on. So let's add a data called result and then followed by this dot test result. Okay, so we'll just pass the actual test result. Let's name it like results, and I'm just going to give it over here. Okay, now let's go and run this one more time. Let's see if it works or not. Okay, today my planned videos didn't go as expected, taking much time. Okay, now let's go and refresh this page again one more time. If I go and if I go and if we go and if I click on this, so we are just doing the console log, so I should see the console log. No, okay. Let's go and do this one more time. Debug. Once I click on this guy, did I get my data? Yes, I have my data. Constants data. Okay, this data. I'm not seeing the index anywhere. This one is 0. Test data of 0. This is the test data of 0. That's correct. Test data of 0 is this one. And I should see the title, all this thing, right? So let's go on. So here we have result. Yeah, we are getting this result and we have all the objects in detail, right? So what we are doing just console log of result. So yeah, that's at least it should display something, right? So if I go to the console, okay, I'm not seeing, why I'm not seeing anything. Oh, my bad. It's in the user message. I was in previously somewhere. Okay, so here you can select we got the object and everything. Okay, so that's great. So in this case, yeah. So now we are able to get all the details, right? So now what we have to do? We have to just style the in the right hand side. We have to style it. So for example, whatever the file name, whatever the project name, whatever the status, test suite name, title, we have to display in the right hand side. We'll do that in the next video. Just need some time to refresh my brain. Okay, so see you in the next one very soon. Tada, bye bye, take care. I hope you understood. So let me give a quick recap before I go. So whatever the data we have stored in the result, the actual test result, right? So this one, the data, this is the data where we are pushing all the test details, and so we are going to make use of that with the format of JSON, then followed by this. So JSON is what? JSON is your handlebar helper file. So within the JSON, we have JSON in the sense like this is the actual thing that is happening within that. So that one we have registered with the help of JSON name. So that's why we are saying like JSON, then followed by the variable name. And this will get the context, and then it will context in the sense like the actual test data, whatever we are passing. So this will call this function save stringify. So this is what it does. So JSON will not like the object cannot be used directly, so you have to convert in JSON. So convert in JSON, we have to do some things like we have to stringify. So that's how stringify in the sense like nothing but we are converting the entire thing into a string, and then we are trying to find out the actual data and we are just returning as a JSON. Okay, this code is a little bit vague, but of course you can copy paste and walk, and or else just copy this, paste it in a chat GPT, ask it, it will explain better than me, I will say. Okay, so yeah, that's it. And then we have this event listener where we are finding the events for each and every click of the list. Once we click on that, we'll just get the test id, and based on that we'll just call the function display test. So this is where we are going to write all the HTML in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.